Hi viewers, welcome back to our channel. In the last video I was explaining the basic concepts of hoop, that is nothing but a class object. Those are also called as a building block of hoop. So if you are not watched, the link is available in the description below. You can go and watch. In this particular video I am going to explain the hoop principles. What is hoop principle, why hoop principle, the advantage of hoop principles. So abstraction, loose coupling, runtime polymorphism we will discuss in the coming next session. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and click the bell icon below. Let us move to the topic.
What is OOP principles? If we want to create a real world object in programming, we must follow some rules, some guidelines, some set of suggestions. For example, if you take a real-time example, while we going on a road by bike, we must follow some traffic rules. Like same as in Java, if we want to create a real world object in programming, we must follow some rules, guidelines, some set of suggestions. Those guidelines, set of suggestions, rules is nothing but a OOP principles. What are the OOP principles? Encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction. Tell me, abstraction is a OOP principle? Most of the peoples are confusion. Abstraction is also a OOP principles. But according to some microsystem, abstraction is not a OOP principle. Rather, it is a supporting pillar. It is not a OOP principle. By developing a abstraction, we can ensure all OOP principles are together in one program. So we have only three OOP principles. Abstraction is not a OOP principle. So in order to understand, first encapsulation. Most of the people are telling encapsulation is nothing but a security. Yes, of course it's correct. How in security perform major role in Java by using the encapsulation concepts. In order to understand first encapsulation. So what is encapsulation? Encapsulation is nothing but the process of creating a class by binding a variables methods as one unit and access those variables by using setter and getter method is called encapsulation. We can also define encapsulation declaring all variables as private and access those variables by using setter and getter method. This way of writing style is nothing but encapsulation. By developing encapsulation, we can ensure hiding a object data from direct accessing from other objects. For example, while we go an ATM center with an ATM card, just by putting an ATM card into an ATM machine, it doesn't give money directly. Rather, it is asking PIN number. This indirect way of giving money is nothing but encapsulation.
Encapsulation stop direct accessing to object data. It provides object data indirect way. So let us understand these are all points through a programmatically. This is a student class program in which student number, student name we declared as a private keyword. By declaring a private keyword, we are stop directly accessing to the outside of the program, and we have two setter methods and two getter methods. The setter and getter methods has the user defined methods. We explicitly must be defined in our own class. A setter method is name start with set, and a getter method name start with get and followed by the field name. The field name is student number and student name. The setter method must be parameterized method and getter method must be non-parameterized method. So this is the college class program. So if you try to modify or initialize student class object fields, you will get compile time error. Let us check. So this is the student class object. By using student class object s and o some number, try to initialize, you will get compile time error. SNO has private access in student. same as if you initialize student name, we will get compile time error because of private declaration in student class object field. by using setter and getter method only, we have to initialize or modify or display the student class object field. This So let us check student SNO student name. We are initializing by using a setter method, and by using getter method we are going to displaying the student class fields. So declaring all variables as private and initialize or modify by using setter method and display by using getter method. This way of writing style is nothing but encapsulation. So let us understand some advantages of encapsulation. We can stop unauthorized people access our object data. For example, if we go to an ATM machine for money, the ATM machine doesn't give money directly. It is asking whether you are authorized person or not by checking ATM pin number. If that pin number is correct, then according to ATM machine you are authorized person. Else, that person is unauthorized person. We can stop wrong value assignment. For example, if we go to a bank for depositing 5,000 rupees, the cashier knowingly or unknowingly typed minus 5,000 rupees. So in such situation, encapsulation concepts is very useful. We can modify code without affecting user class code. So this is the program. So no need to bother about what is this code and how to understand. So let us understand this kind of program in coming next session. So just enough to understand the concept. I just run the program. So in this program, asking enter student number, some number, enter student name, enter student course, enter state, enter city. So this is the output of this program: student name, student number, student course, street, city. So this is the output of this program. So I'm not initializing my own values to this program. I'm binding my own value at the runtime. So one of the future of the encapsulation is we can modify code without affecting user class code. So this is the user class code. I'm not affecting this code. I'm just binding at runtime of the my values. So that is the advantages of encapsulation. And last one is code reusability. So these are all the major advantages of encapsulation. So let us move to the another topic: inheritance is nothing but a parent child relation. It is one of the most important concept in object oriented programming. The name inheritance suggests take something that is already made. So what is inheritance? What is the use of it? The process of creating a new object by obtaining a type, properties, behavior of an existing object is called inheritance. So here type is nothing but a what type of an object, whether it is a bank type, student type, or employee type. And properties is nothing but a object data. For example, if you take a bank class, in that bank properties is account holder name, bank branch, and IFSC code. These are all the bank properties. Behaviors is nothing but a operations of an object. For example, withdraw, deposit, balance checking. These are all the behavior of the object. When should we develop inheritance? When we find an object with the same properties and behavior of an existing object, then we must develop inheritance between two objects. So if we take RBI as an example, RBI is the superclass of all bank classes. So subclasses is nothing but a SBI, ICICI Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank. If you take that classes as an example of subclasses, RBI already developed some operations, that is nothing but a deposit, withdraw, and balance checking operations. In subclasses, no need to create again that operations. We just import. That is the beauty of inheritance. The main objective of inheritance is reusability and changeability. Changeability is nothing but adding more properties, behaviors of current class object. So how inheritance can be implemented in Java? By using extend and implement keywords. Let us move to the another topic, polymorphism. Polymorphism. So what is the meaning of polymorphism? Polymorphism is nothing but the process of defining a method with multiple implementation for exhibiting different behavior of an object in the same operation is called polymorphism. If you take a real-time example as a person will exhibit different feelings. Sometimes he's happy, sometimes he's sad, sometimes he's sorrow. Based on the situation, he's express his feelings. Like same as in Java, based on the object stored in the reference variable, that class object method will be executed. So how can we develop polymorphism in Java? By using a method overriding and method overloading. Let us understand those are all. What is method overriding? Redefining a superclass non-static method in subclass with subclass requirement logic is called method overriding. What is method overloading? Defining a multiple method with the same name but different parameter type list order is called method overloading. In Java, another concept called method hiding. So what is method hiding? Redefining a superclass static method in subclass with subclass requirement logic is called method hiding. So let us understand these are all topics through programmatically. So this is the superclass program and this is the subclass program of superclass. Extend keywords. In superclass, two static methods and two non-static methods we are defining according to the method hiding definition. Redefining superclass static method in subclass is called method hiding. And coming to the method overriding, redefining superclass non-static method in subclass is called method overriding. Coming to the method overloading. So defining a multiple methods with the same name but different parameter type is called method overloading. So this is the programmatical explanation. If you have any questions regarding to this topic, you can comment below. I hope you enjoy the session. Thank you.